Okay, so I'm back at the White Hills Gravel, and I've read just a little bit of information, and basically this has been dated to Paleocene, not Paleogene to Eocene, so about 56 million years ago, and basically there's no exact date for this. What they have done is a minimum date, which is because they found the Pentland Hills, and that's what, 56, no, I can't remember what age that is, but I believe it is probably about 56 or 67 million years old. Anyway, the Pentland Hills is the minimum age, which I'll need to look that up. But what I'm looking at here, I'm trying to see if there's a flow direction of this material. So I'm looking to see if any of the clasts are orientated in any direction. So this is the south, we have north, and we have east and west. So this one's orientated roughly south, this one's orientated east, south, southwest, south, southwest. Any of them orientated east. Basically, I don't see that many. So we're talking about the long orientation, not talking about the short. So this is the long, that's the short, that's the long, short, and it looks like they all have an orientation that's roughly facing south. So, and that may indicate that the flow is either south or north, which I'm not an expert in this, but it could be the case. So majority of them. Now as the water settled down, wouldn't be surprised if any of them actually did turn to east-west, but majority of them. So yeah, here we have one that's facing southwest. So basically a lot of the class, but because this is fairly eroded, you'd need a fresh outcrop to actually do an experiment like this, and you need a lot more material. So and it doesn't help you have loose material on top, which does distort what you're looking for. So you just take this outcrop here. So this pebble here looks east-west. This one's southeast. This one's rounded, so you can't tell. But a lot of the small material probably doesn't have an orientation that you can distinguish. But a lot of the larger material, so this one's also north-south. We go over to this side. This large rock is rounded, but it's sort of north-south. So a lot of the rounded stuff is facing in the south direction. And a lot of it is the bottom of the rock is facing in the south direction. The north of the rock is facing in the east or west direction. It's not facing due north that way. So that indicates to me is that the flow is this way, which would, okay, so when you got water flowing in a river, it's hitting the top or the back of the rock. So we'll just say that's the back where the water flow is hitting, and it's going around the front. So the water is forcing the rock to move forward, and as it's doing so, doesn't have enough to actually saute it down the actual river. So it's just pushing the rock in a southerly direction, or northerly, or whatever direction it is, and so when it pushes it to one side, and if it hits in the east-west direction when it's going south, obviously that's going to be too much energy, so it's going to be pushed into the longitudinal position. because that's a reduction in energy that needs to actually push it down. So basically, that's just my little thought on what the movement of the actual Rockies is like. So that's why I think a lot of the Rockies in the south direction, because actually the water is pushing from the north.